Today we are going to be figuring out how to determine latitude and longitude for New York State exactly. So, just to point out, we live in North America, so here's the global map of the world. Here is North America, and I want to point out that New York is in this blue box here, and we are always north of the equator, and we are always west of the prime meridian. So remember, with the zero line, anything on the left of the zero line until the 180 line is going to be west, and anything on the right side of the zero line all the way until the 180 line is going to be east. So New York is always going to be ended in north for latitude and always will be ended in west for longitude. Let's get into it. So if we zoom in on New York, this is what New York looks like. So I want to point something out. Let's say I wanted to deliver, I don't know, rice to Ithaca, New York. So I want to deliver rice to Ithaca, New York, and I want a plane to airdrop that to Ithaca, New York. So here's Ithaca. If you look at the longitude, here's the 76 line of longitude, and here's the 77 line of longitude. So if I said drop it at 76 degrees west, that means that it's going to be somewhere along here. And Ithaca is right here, so that is not even close to Ithaca. But if I said 77 degrees west, that is also not close to Ithaca. So we need to come up with something that allows us to get more and more exact. And that's what we're going to be calling minutes. So in this case, just like a clock has 60 minutes between 1 hour and another hour, on the map here, between 76 degrees and 77 degrees, there are going to be 60 minutes. So half an hour, right? Half an hour is 30 minutes. So halfway between 76 and 77, right here, is going to be 30 minutes. So in order to get the longitude of Ithaca, we're going to say it's 76 degrees and 30 minutes west, which means that it falls right on this line here, which goes right through Ithaca, New York. So let's make a little more sense. So here's Ithaca, right? It's between the 76 and the 77 line. So between the 76 and the 77 line is going to be 76 degrees, 30 minutes west for Ithaca. And then for the latitude, Ithaca is between the 42 and the 43 line. So we're going to take the lower number, 42 degrees, and halfway between is 30 minutes. If it's less than halfway up, that's going to be 15 minutes. If it is halfway up, that's going to be 30 minutes. And if it's more than halfway up, that's going to be 45 minutes. All right, and in that case, it's going to be north. So let's do some practice problems. Let's break this down. What is the latitude and longitude of Messina, New York? So when we open this up, we're always going to start by looking at the latitudes first, which are going to be in the 40s. Latitude is always first, so that's going to be in the 40s. Notice that there's a 43 on the right side, and right directly across, flat across, is a 43 on that side. So this represents the 43 line. Unfortunately for you, you will not have these red lines on here, but I just want to show you the 42 line here also matches up with the 42 line. So these are our latitudes in the 40s, and then you'll notice that along the bottom here, there are 70s, and they match up with other 70s on the top. So 79 matches up with 79, 78 matches up with 78, and so on, 74 with 74. So let's take a look at Messina, New York. Messina, New York is all the way up here. Oops. That's not right. So, Messina, New York. Messina, New York is all the way up here. So we're going to start by following up. Which number is closest to it? Here's a 45 degrees. And 45 degrees falls right on Messina, New York. So since this is right on the 45, just like how if we're right on like 12, right? If it's exactly 12, we would follow it up with zeros, like 12 o'clock and 0 minutes. We're going to do the same thing here for here. If it falls right on the 45 line, Messina is going to be 45 degrees, 0 minutes north. And the longitude is going to be, if we look, Messina kind of falls between the 74 and the 75 because it's not right on the 75, it's right next to that line. So we're always going to take the lower number, which is 74 degrees, and we'll say 45 minutes. Remember that if we're between 74 and 75 and we're closer to the 74, that's going to be 15 minutes. If we're halfway between, that's going to be 30 minutes. And if we're almost at the 75 or the higher number, that'll be 45 minutes. So this is 74 degrees, 45 minutes west. Let's try this out. So just to point out some more information, notice that we're going to have 40-something degrees, and then minutes is represented by an apostrophe. So the number that they have on here already has the degrees on it. You just have to remember that minutes is an apostrophe. And if you forget, there's actually a 73 degrees and 30 minutes here. So that'll just remind you that that's what minutes, that's where minutes are. So which city is found, it's supposed to be which city is found at 43 degrees and 30 minutes north? So let's just start with that. Let's not worry about the second part. 43 degrees, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read up the right side. We always start on the right side. Here's 43 degrees, and here's 44 degrees. It's asking us about 43 degrees and 30 minutes. So remember, 30 minutes is half of an hour. So in this case, we're going to go halfway between 43 and 44. So halfway is going to be this little dash mark, which means that my city is going to be located somewhere along here. Okay, so it's somewhere along here. What's the longitude that's going to tell me exactly where it's at? 76 degrees and 30 minutes. So here's 76 degrees, here's 77 degrees. Again, it's 30 minutes, so it's going to be halfway between. So I'm going to read up to this, right? So this is 76 degrees and 30 minutes, and we already have 43 degrees and 30 minutes. So where do they coordinate? They are right on Oswego, New York. All right, let's try another one. Oswego. What's the latitude and longitude of the blue dot? So there's the blue dot. I'm always going to start on the right side, and I'm going to take my finger from this location, and I'm going to read all the way flat across to the right side, and I'm going to end here. Right now I'm between 42 degrees and 43 degrees, so I always take the lower number that I'm between. In this case, 42 degrees, and remember, halfway is 30 minutes, and we're a little more than halfway, so this is going to be 45 minutes. So this is going to be 42 degrees, 45 minutes north. 42 degrees, 45 minutes, apostrophe, right, north. Let's try the longitude of this location. The longitude of this, we're going to follow straight down, and we are going to be between 76 and 77. What's the rule? Always take the lower number. So it's going to be 76 degrees, and here's halfway, so we are less than halfway between 76 and 77, right? We're less than halfway. We've only gone this far. So that's going to be 15 minutes. So it's going to be 76 degrees, 15 minutes west. That's our coordinates for, the blue dot right there. So this is going to be on one of the Finger Lakes. So if you go to this exact location, 42 degrees, 45 minutes, and 76 degrees, 15 minutes, you'll end up at the coast of that Finger Lake right there. All right? So that's all I've got for you. And make sure that you follow the steps on that worksheet, on the explanation sheet, so that you know exactly what to do to find the latitude in minutes or the longitude in minutes for a location in New York.